Fernando Casas, and today I will be presenting on No Child Left Behind Act. The No Child Left Behind Act became a federal law made in 2002, and it was made to update the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. It increased the federal role of holding schools responsible for academic process of all students. Reading and math would be tested on 3rd to 8th grade and once in high school. They were required to bring all students to state level by 2013-2014 school year. The law also kept track of progress with a test called Adequate Yearly Progress. Students would be separated into subgroups that depend on race, special education students from low-income families, and more. Punishments for failing to make their goal would lead to increasingly serious sanctions over the years for schools. What are these sanctions? A school that misses their yearly progress 2 years in a row has to allow students to transfer to a better performing public school in the same district. If the school misses 3 years in a row, it must offer free tutoring. Schools that continue to miss achievement targets could face state intervention. States can choose to shut down these schools, turn them into charter schools, take them over, or use another sufficient turnaround strategy. Schools that don't make yearly progress have to set aside a portion of their federal Title I dollars for tutoring and school choices. What's wrong with No Child Left Behind Act? What was wrong was that the schools had no choice but to follow the rules and focus more on testing rather than teaching other subjects, or else they would lose all their Title I federal money. Federally mandated tests tripled when the law came out. The worst part was that in places of poverty, schools had a hard time keeping up with the new laws. This caused these schools to focus more on getting students to pass standardized tests in order to get the adequate yearly progress where it is supposed to be. This meant that schools stopped teaching classes like arts, music, social studies because they were not part of standardized tests. This led the average teacher to spend about 30% more time on test-related tasks instead of student individual needs. This often did not fix the problem. How is the No Child Left Behind Act connected to social justice? The problem was that schools with resources to keep up with what the law demanded often had less poverty students. This gave the schools an unfair advantage over those who were far off what the law demanded. Also, because the focus was on teaching the test, oftentimes the individual needs of students were not cared about, which was one of the reasons why this method of getting all students on track did not work. In total, this method did not work well, as there was an injustice taking place between schools with a lot of poverty and schools with little poverty. This act was restricting schools from working how they were intended to. How No Child Left Behind changed. The No Child Left Behind changed for Every Student Succeeds Act, which borrows some ideas from No Child Left Behind Act, but makes it more flexible for schools to work with students. There is no goal other than improving schools' learning and teaching, and there is more flexibility to teach students about the things that are about different things other than Common Core, and there are new ways they are teaching students that fit their learning styles. And that's my works cited page.